Things happen that are out of your control. Things are going to happen that are out of your control, no matter how well you plan. Because when something happens, what we tend to do, what I did, it shocked me so much that I really didn't know what to do. And it put me in a position where I was like almost frozen, because we're not talking about 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, not even $25 million. We're talking about like some real serious dollars that was basically, let's just say, redirected, or you can use the word stolen if you like. It happened without me knowing it on a daily basis. It happened right up under the bank's supervision. In some cases, I even wonder to this day, how could that have happened while up under the management of a bank? But it happened nonetheless. And here's why you need to learn how to pivot when things happen that you didn't plan for, that are totally out of your control. So I'm at JFK Airport because all the flights got canceled because of this storm that was coming. And I had been sitting on the runway from 9:20 until about 12:30 when they let us off the plane. Then they were going to reboard us back on the plane. Then they said it was canceled again. But they said it was happening to all the planes in the area. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because it's the same way in business. Things are going to happen that are totally outside of your control. And when it happens, you need to be able to pivot. You got to be able to move quick. If you have someone to talk to, if you have a coach or a counselor, somebody who's very experienced and has been through this, not somebody who wants to charge you a ton of money just for 2 minutes worth of information and they've never ever experienced anything that you're referring to. Not somebody who's just strictly selling high ticket programs just for the sake of making money. Not that. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. You want somebody who actually cares. When things happen, no one wants to take responsibility, especially the crooks and the people who are responsible for it. You cannot expect for them to ever come forth and say, you know what, yeah, I made a mistake. Let me make it right. That's not going to happen. Other institutions who may have also been negligent aren't going to come forth and say, you know what, I made a mistake. Let me make it right. What's going to happen is everyone's going to try to make money from it, even those who you think are trying to help you. The ultimate goal is really for them to make money. And that's just what it is today. That's business. They want to make money, not just to simply help you. So while everyone's trying to make money off of your pain, while everyone is also thinking about how they can get a pound of flesh from you at that time because of what you've gone through, because they know you're bleeding and this, you're helpless, or you need help rather. You must pivot and put your mind on making money. And here's where an avenue like payment processing can really come in to assist you. If you have recurring income coming in without you having to do additional work, or that you can stack on by continuing to work, it's going to build your nest egg so that you can get through those hard times. Because remember what I said, people are going to take advantage of you. Even those people who you think are going to help you, the bill is adding up, period. So you want to be able to have some income to pay them, because nobody's going to come and help you for free. And then you want to have some income to get you through those dark periods, because maybe you don't have as much income coming in. Remember, I'm talking about easy 8 figures stolen, easy 8 figures. And then you also want to have some money to pivot into something else. And when I say something else, I don't mean a totally different industry, but maybe you need to run more ads. Maybe you need to hire the right people, right? Which is super key to do. I cannot stress that enough, how important it is to hire the right people. If you hire all the wrong people, they're going to come on board, they're going to collect paychecks, and they're not going to give a squat about what happens to the company, because they're only there to collect the paycheck for that particular moment. They're not like growth-minded people. So getting back to what I'm saying, while all the bleeding is happening, while the sharks are basically swimming around waiting for you to officially drown, or the vultures are just flying around you waiting for you to officially die. But before you die, they're coming in, getting a bite, poking you until you bleed to death. Like literally speaking, that is what happened. They were flying around just waiting. But while they're waiting, they're coming down, bam, they're biting you here, they're biting you there, hoping you bleed out so they can just consume your carcass, so they can consume your body. If you're building recurring income, then you can survive that period. And that's the one thing that will sometimes keep them at bay. Let's say you're that particular person who's dying on the ground, but there's some additional food there, there's some additional blood that you may have. Let's just say there's some additional blood in your body that you may have, which just is what it is. You're gonna have to let them take bites out of that. You have to let them take bites out of you until you can fully recover. But if you have no income coming in whatsoever, no sources of income at all, you are going to be dead in the water. You do not want that. I promise you, you do not want that. So again, you want to make sure that you pivot as quick as possible as soon as something happens. But you also want to start today building your recurring income through your payment processing agency, so that not if, but when that rainy day happens, you have something to fall back on. Your family has something to fall back on. Again, you want to make sure that you pivot as fast as you possibly can when that happens. And when I say pivot, I mean pivot hard and go heavy. You want to understand what happened. Of course, you want to fix things, but you don't want to spend all your time there. You already know what happened. You can always figure out how it happened. The more time that passes, which is an unfortunate thing in law, the more time that passes, then the harder it is to hold people accountable. But things will come out in the open as time passes. That's just what it is. So you want to put a lot of your time into building, into growth. You don't want to sit back and just let the vultures, the sharks, take small bites out of you until you're totally gone, and then they consume whatever the remains are. So I hope this helps, and I hope I'm not talking too theoretical or philosophical. I can't mention names, I can't mention institution names yet. Well, I'm sure everything comes out. One day you will probably know yourself. But I hope this message finds you well. And if you are interested in starting your own payment processing agency, which I highly recommend that you do, then make sure you go to a link or you message us here in some way. Be good.